Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Life here, and I recently got a chance to play through Captain Rainbow. I've always been so curious about this game. Is it even good? So this is a first-party Nintendo game that never left Japan, and it's full of obscure references to games like Panel de Pon, and the mysterious Murasame Castle, and Punch-Out, and Mario, and Zelda. So let's find out what this game even is. Pre-recorded, John, take it away. Chibi-Robo probably hasn't been played by most people, but most of us at least know of the franchise. It's what brought us this! Developer Skip Limited were never exactly dealt the best hand, and while it hasn't been confirmed, as of 2020, there's a high chance the studio doesn't even exist anymore. The ArtStyle series on WiiWare and DSiWare were fairly popular, but their legacy is absolutely the GameCube Chibi-Robo. However, over in Japan, Skip were given a far greater opportunity. Meet Captain Rainbow, a game that utilizes a ton of different Nintendo IP. We've got Mario stuff, Zelda stuff, Murasame Castle stuff, Panel de Pon stuff. Surely it was destined for success. It sold 6,000 copies in its first week. But sales don't represent a game's quality, and Captain Rainbow is one of the Wii's most bizarre, most at times uncomfortable, yet often surprisingly wholesome games on the entire system. This is perhaps the strangest game Nintendo's ever published. Yeah, even stranger than DC's Supergirl's Teen Power. First though, yeah, Captain Rainbow never left Japan, and it's a game that relies on its characters. If you can't read Japanese, then you won't enjoy this. Thankfully, a near-complete fan translation exists. It's not 100% done, but the important things are conveyed. So this game stars Nick and his superhero alter ego, Captain Rainbow. Only problem is kids are starting to think he's a bit lame, as more interesting superheroes come in and take the spotlight. Captain Rainbow is being forgotten. And so Nick sets off in search of Min Min Island, a rumored place that is said to grant wishes. Nick's not alone though, as others have made their way here for the exact same reason. You'll find the soldiers from Famicom Wars, Birdo from Doki Doki Panic, Hikari from Famicom Fairy Tales, Crazy Tracy from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Takemaru from the mysterious Murasame Castle, Little Mac from Punch-Out, the Devil from Devil's World, Osun from Golf, yeah, that's not Mario, Gitchoman from Chibi-Robo, Mappo and Tao from Gifpia, and finally Lip from Panel de Pon. Some of these are certainly more forgotten than others. Little Mac got a game just 1 year later. But if you're a dedicated Nintendo fan, this is a brilliant way to spend more time with characters that stand little to no chance of coming back otherwise. It's a great utilization of IP. Hikari acts as the central character for guidance, but you're mostly left to your own devices. Stars are scattered all around the island, and if you want to, all you have to do is collect them, summon a shooting star, take it to the altar, grant your wish, and leave Min Min Island. Doing that though gets you the bad ending, and that's not really what the game's about. It's about doing that for someone else. To grant someone else's wish, you first have to bond with them, so you spend all your time getting to know and help every character on the island, and sending them away one by one to grant their wish until only one remains. So that sounds pretty wholesome, right? Well, let's get weird. So Takemaru from the mysterious Murasame Castle accidentally leaves his katana lying around. One of the little creatures that populates the island, called Min Min, accidentally slices another with it. And to save that Min Min, you need medicine from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening's Crazy Tracy. But it turns out that Tracy is rather randy in this game and wants to seduce every man in the world, and she's eyeing up Takemaru. She even has a place for him in her throne room alongside Mario and Link, which implies she did the deed with them too. Turns out Takemaru has a crush on Crazy Tracy, so this should be pretty easy. But Takemaru can't talk to women and gets nosebleeds around them. So what you do is you sneak into Tracy's room, you steal her bra, and then you put it on a mannequin. You then shove Takemaru into it and build up his confidence around women. And by that I mean you hold down buttons on a Wii remote in places that are nowhere near each other. And I thought I had this down perfectly until the C button came up. So this is pretty weird, but other examples make it very clear why this game wasn't localized. It can get pretty uncomfortable. So Mappo imprisons Birdo because they caught them coming out of the women's bathroom. Birdo then flat out swears and censored bleeps, and to save Birdo, you go into their house and you hear this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what you think it is. Under Birdo's bed is an orb called Female Proof. So yeah, there's quite a lot wrong with this. This is one of the first tasks you do in the game, and almost the entire time, I was just going, oh no. This is mostly an outlier though. The Famicom Wars soldiers have given up war and want to play volleyball. Osen has his golf club stolen by the devil. Lip has a cold and loses her mask. Nothing ever gets as questionable as the Birdo thing. What really brings this all to life is the characters live by a daily routine. Tracy, for instance, only leaves her bedroom late in the day, and the Famicom Wars soldiers get tired after a game of volleyball, so you wait until the next day for the next round. By the way, at night, one of the Famicom Wars soldiers leaves the pack, so I decided to follow them, and they went straight to Crazy Tracy's room and locked the door behind them. It's a sleepover, I guess. Much like Majora's Mask, you end up becoming very familiar with the island and everyone that lives on it. It's pretty small and not bursting with side activities, but it's one of the coziest spaces from a game. Nick himself can't do a great deal, you mostly just run around and talk to people, but you can turn into Captain Rainbow, as long as your stamina lasts at least, and if it runs out, well, you die. Captain Rainbow has a yo-yo, and you can use this to break open boulders, and he runs a bit faster too. This is far from an action game. He does have another weakness though, water. Oh no. Although, as you carry a star to the altar to grant a wish, you get chased down by these black demon things who want to steal the star away. They're taken down incredibly easily with 2 yo-yo swings, and you can even cheese this. When you transform into Captain Rainbow, they just freeze, so what I do is I hit them, I transform back, I hit them again, I transform back. You lose basically no energy. There's 1 or 2 clever twists on this, as in one instance, it's raining, and of course Captain Rainbow's weakness is water, so you can't transform. Other variants are more annoying than clever. Some just block off parts of the island with these big invisible walls. So you make your way around, find a dead end, go back, find another way, that's a dead end too. It's a bit tedious. That's far from the only tedious moment. Volleyball is pretty easy, as long as you keep an eye on the shadows, and the first few times, I had no idea. I missed just one, I failed, and I had to sit through this wall of dialogue again. This is way too long. Same with the golf minigame. Not only is there a ton of text, but you only get 1 attempt per day. There's quite a bit of annoying downtime. The weirdest thing though is the game doesn't really rely on the pointer, but every day the Min-Mins hide in different places around the island, and if the cursor goes over them, you'll hear press A, and you found them. I was not doing this in my playthrough, and eventually I hit a brick wall. You need to have 50 of these to progress. I had 7. So I kept going to bed to reset the day and going to the usual spots, but the thing is, they're not always in the same spots, so sometimes you'll go somewhere and they'll be there, other times they won't be. So some days I'll go all around the island, putting the cursor everywhere to find Min-Min, and I will find nothing. Other times I'll get like 5 or 6 in a day. But stranger than any of that is if you check how many Min-Min you have, you lose them. So let's say you have 48, you're 2 off. If you go and check how many you have, you will no longer have those 48, you'll have 0. Make sure you save, because you're going to want to reset after that. But even with its tedious moments and uncomfortable bathroom segments, the core of Captain Rainbow is really good. I'm someone who loves legacy Nintendo franchises, and getting more time with these characters, and in some cases, giving them a personality they otherwise lacked, is great. Little Mac has spent so long without a game that he's let himself go, so help him lose calories in this rhythm boxing game. Lip has a cold and says wear a mask, and the devil wants to cause not too drastic mayhem, but mayhem all the same. Having everyone on the same island together just feels so cozy and homely, and that's why it hits so hard when someone leaves. You want them to go so their wish can be granted, but there's such an empty feeling of going to Lip's house and having her no longer be there, and it goes beyond that. Every time you send someone away, something weird happens to Min-Min Island. Around the midway point, the entire colour scheme just looks drained, and the soundtrack changes to something much sadder and full of sorrow. You can see far fewer Min-Min around. It becomes clear that without the inhabitants, the island slowly dies. This makes those final moments hit the hardest, knowing full well what you're doing will destroy the town you've invested so much time in satisfying. The tone is far deeper than it initially seems, and by the end, I was touched by Captain Rainbow. It's far from a flawless game, but at its core, there's very little like it. It's absolutely problematic in areas, but I don't think Skip has a better game in their portfolio. You may know them for Chibi Robo, but I prefer Captain Rainbow by a pretty considerable amount, and it's not just because it has Lip, but that certainly helps. So, after watching that, do you feel like you know what Captain Rainbow is? After playing it, I kinda do. I really enjoyed this game. It's definitely got elements which I wish weren't in there, but when it's just at its core, when you're just chilling on the island, it's so much fun. So let us know what you guys think about Captain Rainbow in the comments below, and go to that subscribe button, and be sure to give it a wish and send it on to its merry, merry life. And we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.
한일 스쿼드 고된 10나 3이와 또 1